Hi, I'm Donna Griggs, CEO of Propel Change, and today we're going to talk about the suggestion box that doubles as a shredder. So Mike is a buddy of mine, and he's the director of operations. He and I were having coffee one day, and he was a little bit frustrated because they were asking people for suggestions, and they just weren't getting a lot of traction. So I asked him some things that they had tried before. Have you ever asked for suggestions before? Oh yeah. In fact, our CEO is really big on getting people's opinions. So we tried this for 3 weeks in a row, and by the third week, we were getting almost nothing. So I asked him to tell me a little bit more. Let me give you his story as well as the suggestion mentality that people have. So during the first week, the CEO asked for suggestions by email. When he does that, a lot of people send in suggestions. They're really excited they're being asked. And they're thinking, man, some things are going to be changing around here. This is cool. Nothing happens. The second week, the CEO asked for suggestions on a different topic. There's some people kind of looking like, I don't know if I'm going to give you my suggestions or not because, well, if I do, what are you going to do with them? Because we haven't seen anything so far. The third week, the CEO asked for suggestions on yet a third topic. There were very few people that answered that email. And the reason was they didn't care about emotionally investing in giving you a suggestion you're not going to do anything with. So that's why we call this syndrome the suggestion box that's a shredder. Now, fortunately, I was able to tell Mike the worst suggestion box story I have ever heard, hands down, and I think this will keep the prize for a while. A buddy of mine was a COO of a national company. The national company ended up going bankrupt, unfortunately. It was a great company. I loved actually shopping there. When they went bankrupt, there were 3 or 4 people the last day who were closing everything out. On that last day, they happened to be in a warehouse, and in the warehouse, there was a suggestion box on the wall, which you don't really see anymore. So they decided at the very end of the day, they were going to go have some adult beverages. They're going to pull the suggestion box off the wall, and they're going to look and see what kind of suggestions people made. He said it was the most incredible thing. They put them in 2 piles. There was a big pile of whining, and then there was another pile that was smaller, but had some really great suggestions in it. And in fact, he said the saddest part of it was we found 5 suggestions in that pile that if we had only done that, our company would have probably still been open today. That is my worst suggestion box story. So this is the case where 2 years of suggestions floated out when they pulled the suggestion box off. So I guess the CEO not answering anything for 3 weeks wasn't quite as bad. So does your suggestion box double as a shredder? Here's how you know. Do you get feedback? Do you consistently get feedback? And is it about the same number of pieces of feedback every time? If it's not, can you improve? So if you can improve, here's some things to think about. First, make a plan and communicate it. Let people know when we get your suggestions, we have specific criteria that we're looking for. And so based on that criteria, we're going to choose those suggestions that make the most sense for us to implement. Also explain, hey, look, sometimes we're not going to use all of the suggestions. That's just part of this. We love all of your feedback, but we can't use everything. And then when you've chosen those suggestions, make sure you let everybody know. Because if you don't, it's just like the suggestion box that's a shredder. If you do these things, your suggestions that you're getting are likely to improve because people know what criteria you're looking for. What am I supposed to suggest about, and how do I know if it's going to be a good suggestion? Help them do that, and they'll help you by giving you great feedback. For more topics like this and to learn more about how we help our clients, please visit our website. Contact us. We'd love to hear from you.